Paris Marx, I also want to ask you about Elon Musk, who you have reported on extensively. As President Trump marked his 100th day in office, the New York Times front page headline, "There have never been 100 days like this." I want to ask you about the role of Elon Musk, the world's richest man in Washington, over these 100 days. A new Senate report finds Musk and his businesses could avoid over $2 billion in potential legal liability thanks to cuts Musk enacted as head of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. When Trump was inaugurated, Musk was facing up to 65 actions from 11 federal agencies targeting SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and xAI. Senate Democrats now say Musk has largely averted those actions thanks to DOGE helping him, quote, evade oversight, derail investigations, and make litigation disappear whenever he so chooses on his terms and at his command. Paris Marx, tell us more.
Yeah, it has been a really stunning 100 days, and even the period before that, right? Before Trump came to power, was reelected, you could see that Elon Musk was already making the shift to the right globally, you know, by supporting other extreme right-wing parties. And then, of course, to get publicly behind Donald Trump, to give hundreds of millions of dollars to support his campaign. But I think even then, it was hard to imagine that he would really play this outsized role in, you know, the actual governance of the country, right? Heading up this agency that seem to have such broad power to start, you know, going into these various different departments and agencies of the U.S. government, remaking it, laying people off, you know, forcing decisions on it. And what we have seen as part of that is, you know, this ability for Elon Musk to use this kind of profile that he has as, you know, this tech leader, this tech genius, regardless of whether that's true or not, to come in and kind of help legitimize this right-wing program that we had seen in the making for quite some time, right? Through Project 2025 and, you know, the larger kind of Heritage Foundation and these other right-wing groups and their ambitions. But then beyond that, you know, as you were saying there, one of the key pieces of this was not just to, you know, lay a lot of people off, to kill certain departments or significantly reduce the capacities of others, but also to ensure that what comes out on the other side of this is much more beneficial to Elon Musk specifically and some parts of the tech industry more broadly, with the rollout of Starlink in many different agencies, the gutting of regulators who were looking into Elon Musk's businesses. And we see that, you know, a section of the tech industry wants to really see a remaking of not just the aerospace industry, but military procurement as well. And I think that we're starting to see changes in that space too. So it has been a really significant 100 days. Obviously, there's talk now about whether Elon Musk is going to continue. He's talked about reducing the amount of time he spends there to 2 days a week. But even then, 2 days a week is quite a lot of time to cause a lot of havoc.
And this issue of Musk's DOGE is not just centered in the United States per se. You've reported, for instance, that several Canadian tech executives recently launched the initiative Build Canada. The website lists that's its goals: building more pipelines, firing over 100,000 federal workers in Canada, and increasing immigration restrictions. What do you see the possibility of this approach of dismantling the liberal democratic state going global?
Yeah, so I think it is a serious worry, right? We often see things that happen, say, in the United States, eventually get exported to other parts of the world. And I would not be surprised if there's not a push from the political right in other countries to try to do something similar with a DOGE organization, kind of wrapping it in this, you know, kind of cloak of efficiency and you know, the use of technology and things like that, but actually allowing this further gutting of the state based on what we've seen over the past number of decades already, right? And so in Canada, we have seen tech executives explicitly say that they want to see a DOGE. It's interesting, actually, the head of Build Canada in the past few weeks came out and said, no, our goal is not to build a DOGE, recognizing how, you know, that term and that notion had been so toxified based on what was happening in the United States. But that didn't also stop, you know, a number of prominent conservatives at a recent conservative conference in Canada to actually talk about how it would be easier to roll out a DOGE in Canada. And there was even an executive from Amazon there, a senior public policy person, who was explaining how Amazon and other cloud services could be used to collect a lot of data on government that would aid in this process of deciding which parts of the government, which programs should be eliminated, which I think is a very worrying relationship to see, not just with these Canadian tech executives, but people from a major company like Amazon being part of these conversations in Canada. Probably shows that still how close this relationship between parts of the tech industry and the right wing are, especially when it comes to these efforts.